evening, everyone. I'm wishing you a very happy new Church Day. I'm very happy to share with you one of my favorite teachings from the new church about Divine Providence. And I'm going to start with this reading, Divine Providence 120. Now, since our senses tell us nothing about the way our minds or souls are at work, both together and separately, in all the elements of our bodies, we do not know how the Lord is at work in all the elements of our minds or souls, that is, in all the elements of our spirits. And I just love the teachings about the Lord's divine providence and how his love and wisdom is continuously at work in everything and in everyone's lives. And we can only see the workings of his divine providence in hindsight. And I'm realizing more and more that a lot of the time we are totally unaware of all the work that the Lord is doing for us. Looking back in my life, I can pinpoint many specific and key events where the Lord's divine providence became so clear to me. Losing my father at 13 and my mother at 23, it was only in looking back on these events that the details of the Lord's divine work became evident to me. Many other key events that happened, like meeting my husband Michael and our daughters meeting their husbands, as well as many other wonderful events and situations experienced in my life so far, have made me realize the Lord's steadfast love. From Matthew chapter 6 verse 25 to 34, it starts like this: do not be anxious, and then it goes on, consider the lilies of the field. Well, there are times when I have felt really anxious when going through hard stuff and in difficult circumstances. Last year was a particularly challenging time, as it was my last year at Kynan School, and there was a lot of angst about how it would all pan out and finding a principal, tying up all the loose ends, but also for me having to let go of what had been my life for so long. My husband Mike and I had to pack up and sell our house, and we'd been in the house for over 30 years, and we had to find another place to live in the interim while we saw the year out and saw it through. And there were lots of goodbyes. We had to find a place to live in Cape Town, a completely different province, transfer everything, and guess what? There were a lot of anxious times, but guess what? It all worked out, step by step. Not without challenges, but it all worked out. And I certainly had my doubts at times as to how it was all going to happen. But looking back, I can see how the Lord's divine providence was at work. And in amongst all what sometimes seemed like absolute chaos, he blessed us with a new baby granddaughter and a son-in-law to be. So I want to be able to hold on to this inner feeling of peace, and especially going forward, and to be more mindful of the Lord's love and protection. And I really want to trust more in knowing the Lord is in charge. I also love how the Lord is always helping us move forward. And I want to read this little passage from Divine Providence. We are not granted inner access to the truths of faith and the goods of charity, except those we can be kept in to the end of our life. In Derek Elphick's book, Daily Bread, he actually says the following, and I thought it was really useful. The Lord helps us move forward by giving us new thoughts and feelings. when He sees that we can be kept in them to the end of life. Much like the mechanism in a ratchet that keeps things going in one direction, the Lord prevents us from slipping back in the vital upward path of spiritual growth by ratcheting us forward, cog by cog, into the sphere and delight of heavenly peace, joy, contentment, charity, love, and usefulness. And I really love that. Thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed sharing that.